with 2 pending.
And how many are you going to do this year?
30.
I think that you should probably start at the one-on-one retreat next year.
Okay. Hi, who just logged on?
Carlos Gutierrez.
Hey, Carlos.
If I can, I'll say one thing about that, and then I'm not going to say anything else about it. We can talk about it on another time. Is the best time for anybody to go into NLP is when you have your scripts completely memorized.
Thanks for telling me now.
Yeah, well, I didn't know you back then, bro. Love you.
Love you too. Toodles. Toodles.
Toodles.
Carlos, you memorized them all in an hour, right? You're a rock star, I can tell.
Thank you. It took me a little bit. Practice, practice. Okay, I've got a great read for you guys. Okay, ready? No.
Oh, no.
So we got I'm just going to take some roll call here. Carlos, Bernadette, Jackie.
Dave's here.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
Is everyone standing or is everyone sitting?
Standing.
All right.
I don't have a chair in my office.
Good. Who we're waiting for? Alex, Lori, and
Does
Samantha.
anyone have a listing appointment today? One?
No. I set up one for 3 properties on Saturday, though.
Nice.
Yeah. He wasn't going to list with me, and then it got down to the point where I told him about a neighbor that is on the school board in his area and told him he was an Aztec, and he brought up San Diego State basketball, how they did, how crushed he was, and then I brought it up going, yeah, I was bummed. Thanks for bringing it up. And it came to, I told him that was a mascot for state, and he goes, oh, my God, no way. But now you got a shot. I'll definitely listen to what you have to say.
So, awesome.
It was cool. I didn't expect
Cool.
that.
Mascot clothes.
Yeah.
Mascot clothes. Yeah, we don't have that one on the list, B.
Bring it. Bring it.
I love it.
All right. I didn't hear from anyone that they weren't going to be on the call. Did you? Rita?
I would start. No, I did not. I would start. It's 12:34. They
Yeah.
lose. They lose.
Let's roll.
Okay. All right, let's get started then. So today's mastermind call is about listing presentation objection handlers. And before we dive in, I thought it would be great to start out with 2 affirmations, just to get everyone pumped. Okay? You guys ready?
Right.
Let's go.
All right, so the first one is, I am a listing machine.
I am a listing machine.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo! Okay, so the next one is just an all-time favorite. It's a great day to list and sell property. Ready? It's a great day to list and sell property. Awesome. Okay, everyone ready?
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
Ready?
Okay, before we dive into just, rapid-fire handling of objections, I just wanted to go around the group and say, first of all, what does Mike tell us that our listing percentage for listing appointments should be?
70%.
70.
70. Okay. So how close is everyone to that 70? How about you, Jackie? Where are you at?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Do you use your numbers analyzer, my love?
It doesn't really work because it's Jeff and me and everyone else on my team.
Okay.
Sucks. I even tried to pay for my own, and they wouldn't give me one.
You can track that yourself, though.
Yeah.
You should just keep track of that. That's a number that you're going to need to know.
It's around there. It might be a little less.
Cool.
Who just chimed in?
Alex Blake.
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Okay. Dave, how about you? What's your listing percentage for listing appointments? Do you know?
At 88.
88.
wow.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Very nice. Okay, how about you, Carlos?
I'm at, I think it's 44%.
Okay. How about, who else? How about you, Alex?
I'm looking it up right now. I don't know. Hold on, I'll get it to you in a second.
Okay.
Who
You want
else
to tell us
is on?
what yours is, Gina?
Mine last year was 90%. This year it's 100.
Whew.
Oh, my God. Wow. Okay, I'm hovering around 50. So I think that this call is really going to help us all to get just that much closer to the 70% that we need to be at, and hopefully to the 100% that Geeta's at.
Yeah, I want to get there too.
What about Dave? Wasn't Dave on the call, or did Dave say?
Oh, yeah.
I'm at 88.
You're at 88.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah?
Forgive me. I was just writing that down.
And Alex, I'm a 65.
Cool. All right, so we're in good company here. Let's get started. I sent around a little late, so I want to apologize for that. But I hope everyone had a chance to think up some of their best answers. I'm just going to call on everyone, just randomly. Okay. All right. So, Carlos, we like what you have to say, but we want to think it over.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah, Carlos.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear exactly. So, that's interesting. You want to think it over. Well, I can appreciate that fact, and obviously thinking it over is a good thing. Now, 3 minds are better than 2, so what are you thinking out loud?
Well, the price is just not exactly what we were hoping for.
Okay, so obviously the price is not what you were looking for. So are you saying you would like to list higher? So saying that you might be able to come down in price?
Sure.
Okay. And I can understand because a lot of people don't like the reality of what we're telling them with the market, what's going on now. So a lot of people like to list high and leave room for some negotiation. And have you ever considered what the problem that creates for you when you list higher than what your home is really worth?
No, what do you mean by that?
Well, most people won't even bother looking at properties that are priced way too high. Would you rather have an opportunity to have an actual bidding war or have an opportunity to not negotiate any offers at all?
Oh, gosh, no, we want a bidding war. Hey, Alex, but, will you cut your commission?
Quite frankly, I won't. We just can't. It's our company policy to keep it at 6. Any other questions?
Well, I guess so. I mean, hey, Jackie, you haven't sold any homes in our price range.
No, and Bernadette, I can absolutely appreciate that, and I'm sure you realize it's not the area or price why an agent can sell a home, but the proven sales strategy. Now, clearly, the strategy we're using is generating 2 to 3 sales a week. So, do you agree that I can sell your home? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and sign the contract.
Well, we're ready to sign the contract, but, I mean, Dave, we just had another agent in here like 5 minutes ago, and they said they'd take our listing at a higher price.
Okay, I understand that you want to get the most money possible for your home. And I have an important question. Which is more important to you? The price that you list your home for or the price that you sell it for?
Well, I mean, we really need to get $500,000 to go to the next house.
Okay, I can appreciate that. We went over that one. Okay, great. And, sorry, I'm just flipping to the other objection there. Look, you invited me here tonight to talk about getting your home sold. And as we've gone through the CMA, you realize that your home will sell for approximately $399,000. Now, the more you think about the other agent's suggestion to overprice your home, the more you realize that they're just focused on getting your listing and not focused on actually selling the home. Selling the home is what's important to you, correct?
Yeah, we really need to get...
Great. Just you saying that proves that you should not gamble your equity away on an agent who's not in touch with reality. I'm committed to getting this home sold for you quickly and for full asking price. Are those the results you want?
Yes.
Great, then sign the contract and I'll get to work on it right away.
Okay, great.
Really
That was awesome.
So can I make a comment about that, Bernadette?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was directly for you. That is a NLP technique that he just used right there. That whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're asking about NLP and if you want to take your work and your objection handling, that is why you need to have your scripts down pat, because NLP takes the scripts and then moves everything and your conversation with people to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
All right, sorry. Carry on.
No, that's cool. Please email that one around. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, well, great. You know, we're about to sign, and you know, if you'd only cut your commission, Carlos, I mean, we'd be willing to sign right now.
I can appreciate the fact that you want me to cut my commission. However, it's a company policy that we have 6% commission. Any other questions?
Well, you know, based on that, I mean, Jackie, we're really going to need to think things over.
You know, I can absolutely appreciate you wanting to think it over. Financial commitment.
I mean, this is a really big decision.
Share with me specifically what it is.
Well, I mean, specifically, Alex, we're really thinking about the fact that you're recommending a price that just doesn't give us enough money to move to the next house.
Gotcha, and I can totally appreciate that. And really, you guys do want to move to the next house, right?
We do, yeah.
Okay, well then we need to just do the right thing and go for what buyers are going to pay for your home. And I'm not lying to you. This is the most a buyer in this marketplace is going to pay. So let's do the right thing. Have you sign the contract tonight so I can get started on getting you moved to the next place?
You know, we really want you to get started right away, Dave, but, I mean, couldn't we just list a little bit higher and, you know, leave some room for negotiating?
What I hear you saying is that you want to get every penny possible out of this home. And let me ask you, do you want to sit on the market and risk becoming the stale old listing that buyers throw lowball offers at? Or would you rather be the exciting featured listing that receives multiple offers and possibly sells for over asking price? Which do you prefer?
I mean, we certainly want to be the exciting new listing, but, you know, Carlos, we're so confused. I mean, we just had another agent in here, and they said they'd happily take our listing for a higher price.
Oh, that's interesting. So you had another agent that basically said that they would list your home overpriced?
Well, I mean, they not overpriced.
That was
higher.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
That was awesome. Talk about dumping. That was awesome, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love it. That's when you put the contract in front of your face and you're just like, it's okay. You don't need to answer that question. Just go ahead and sign right here.
I was sliding it. My verbal was just sliding it across the table with the pin.
Yeah, I could feel that. I could feel that.
I was like, no, wait, I'm supposed to be in charge, not you.
Awesome.
Good job. Good job. All right, guys. I mean, I think we've all gone through a couple of times. What do you suggest, Gita? Should we keep going with this?
You can keep going with it, or if you guys have any other objections that you guys seem to be getting, why don't you guys have a little bit of an open forum here on what's happening when you guys are on appointments?
So the one thing I didn't put on here, which I am getting a lot, and I'd love to hear, you know, from you guys, is, you know, we're thinking we're just going to wait until the market gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
That one's a tough one. I'm learning and not coming from an adversarial standpoint and trying to be on their side. That's what I'm working on now. I had a little trouble with that last couple of weeks, so that would be a good one. And because I'm hearing that a lot of people are saying that, and I'm kind of like, are you aware of what's going on in the news? I mean, you know, how long they're saying? I was reading a thing. It's going to be 7 to 10 years now until we get to those 2003 numbers. I mean, Gita, I got to go to Gita. Gita, what do you say?
So, you know, when they say that, I just got back from prospecting school and we were role-playing actually that objection when we were there. And when they say that, you know, we think we're going to wait until the market gets better, you just really have to just repeat and approve them and acknowledge it and say, yeah, sure, you know what, you can wait, you know, to get it back on the market. So is it your goal to hang on to the property for, say, you know, 7 to 10 years?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Wow, you sound really negative.
Pardon me?
And then they say, like, wow, that sounds like a really negative outlook. You know, you're really negative.
Oh, well, actually, you know what, Bernadette? It's not really a negative outlook. It's a realistic outlook. And, I mean, you don't want to be talking to somebody about the market that's got wishful thinking or somebody that's got a crystal ball that's going to turn around to you and say, oh, the market's going to get better in a year or the market's going to get better in 2 to 3 years. I mean, its bottom line is this. It's your property. You can hold on to it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years. It's up to you, really, what you do with it. I'm just here to guide you and show you that when it comes to market conditions, any economist is going to tell you for every equal and equivalent up, we will have an equal and equivalent down. And this is the lowest period that we've been in for the longest period of time. So it's going to take just as long to get back up and get your property value back up. So you just have to ask yourself, if my team will be, and you know, we can help you then, but you could cash it out now knowing that you could get $300,000 for it right now. I mean, a sure bet sounds better than something that could or should or may happen because you don't know what's going to happen, right?
No.
And then you've got to go back to what kind of appointment it is too, right? If it's an expired, if it's a for sale by owner, what was the motivation? So tell me again, why were you thinking about selling anyways? You were already on the market with another agent for 6 months and it didn't sell. So you obviously had an intention to get the property sold at that time. So what's changed? You know? You're having me over for a reason. If it's a FSBO, it's, well, you know, you're selling it on your own, so there's got to be a real good reason why you're thinking about selling it. I mean, if you want to wait to get it sold, that's fine. If you're just testing the market, I don't think so, because you seem like a really smart person because you've already taken the necessary steps to get the property on the market. Now it just seems like you just need to get it properly exposed to the buyers that are out there, and I can help you do that. But you really got to go back to that conversation with the sellers on what the motivation is and make them feel okay with it. Telling them reality of the market in your guys' situation is not negative. It's realistic. And you just have to put it that way towards them. And if they're thinking that you're telling it to them in a negative way, well, you know what? You're not. You're just telling them the same thing that's going around the newspaper and the media and say, I'm not telling you anything that's any different. Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you stuff that you don't already know. If you watch the news, you read the papers, you're talking to people, you know that the market is not what it used to be. And here's the reality. We do not know how long it's really going to take to go back. What they're saying is 7 to 10 years. So can you hold on to it for 7 to 10 years? That means that your property value is probably going to drop even more every day that it's not sold right now. So you can take $300,000 cash for it right now, or do you want to wait and gamble on the equity that's left and end up having no equity and your property value be worth $200,000 or $175,000 in 2 to 3 years? I don't know. If it was me, I'd take the $300,000 and run. Mm-hmm. But that's just me.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah, so what do you guys want to do? What do you think sounds better? So then you give them, the option, and you've kind of got to be really blatant with your delivery of that and paint the picture of $300,000 or $200,000.
And the hardest part
What's it going to go? And the motivation, you were listed for whatever the reason was. You wanted a bigger house. You're cashing it out. It was an investment. And that's when you have to get deeper into your objection handling techniques and start developing your conversation around those main things that are going to come up. Right?
Yeah. And the hardest part is not making them feel stupid, because I did that to Jackie yesterday, and it's not good because it shows you're not on their side. Just putting it into like I don't care, I'm in the middle. I'm just giving you the A or the B, which will work for you.
Yeah, you guys are the messengers of what the market really is doing. Not the other agents out there that aren't trained, that aren't Mike Ferry agents, that haven't got the techniques, that don't know how to get houses sold. You are the true messenger to them on where the market is. So if you cannot deliver that properly to them, then you take responsibility for that and figure out a way that you can by role-playing it over and over again until your role-play partners say, shit, that was awesome. That was good. That's what you need to say. But pick up the objections that you're getting all the time, and then you need to start, directing your conversations and your role-plays around that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
would everyone in the group mind if we shifted a little bit from actual objection handlers? What I'd love to do is ask Dave how you are at 88%. What do you think you're doing so right that you can share with us that we can pick up on?
I'm not going on enough appointments. That's basically.
Oh, okay.
I need to go on more appointments. I mean, I really am. I got really good in the last 6 months at pre-qualifying, and I'm very picky about who I go on appointments with. And honestly, I just think it's that I haven't gone on enough, and I need to go on more appointments.
Now, here's the other thing that you guys need to make a note of with your listing percentages is when you're putting your numbers in your numbers analyzer, are the appointments you're putting in your numbers analyzer real, 100% qualified, motivated sellers?
Yeah.
Or are they, I'll come by, take a look at your house, do a CME, and see what happens, and you don't pre-qualify them, you don't send a pre-list, you don't call them to confirm, you don't use the 5-step listing process?
Yeah,
Facebook drop-bys. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with that. I mean, there's some appointments that were like previews and FSBO previews. Those are not appointments.
No.
You know, when I set an appointment, I mean, my pre-listing appointment routine is all pacing the seller for me to list the property. It's just like by the time I get there, I go through the script, and I have a strong pre-listing package. I have a strong pre-qualification, so it's pretty easy once I get there.
Great. Thanks for sharing. Alex, you have a very respectable 65%. What are you doing right?
It just comes down to using the scripts, going on it, and the pre-qual. I mean, that's a huge part. My numbers last 2 months ago, before Gita told me that, was they were 50%, and so I've increased that because I went. I was going on those house calls. I just go out there, take a look at the home, and I would count that as a listing appointment. Made me feel good because I went on a listing appointment, but I didn't get it anyway, so it made me feel bad in the same stance. So, and then the lead follow-up has helped me a lot. So I might not get it right then and there, but a couple days later, they'll end up faxing me over the contract because I follow up and follow up and follow up.
So one of the things, and that's a great point, Alex. I'm glad that you brought that up because one of the things that you also want to realize, too, when you start to pre-qualify is that your listing percentage goes up. So Dave, you might be going on the right number of appointments. I don't know, but, you could be following the listing presentation, your listing appointment routine, diligently. Is what is your minimum standard for you to go out on an appointment? I have a minimum standard for every buyer that I work with and every listing appointment that I go on. Right? What's your minimum standard for you personally before you'll actually get in your car and go out and, go to meet a seller to try and list their property? If you're just going out there and you're just going out on appointments with, whatever for the sake of going out, I mean, you can do that. But, how effective is that for you? How effective is that for your mindset? How does that make you feel? You're going out on these unqualified appointments, you're not taking listings, you're like, shit, you're giving your subconscious this repeated pattern of, I hate to say it, a failure, right? So you'd rather go on and do what Dave's doing or Alex is doing or even what I do is to go on fewer appointments that are qualified that are going to list. And I got a call today from a past client, and I pre-qualified her, and I know her really well. She said, I don't know, you should come out. I said, no, here's what's going to happen. And you have to be in the driver's seat. You're going to lose your house. You need to sell it. I'm going to come there on Saturday. You're going to tell your husband that I am coming on Saturday. I'm not going to surprise him because, you made a shitty decision and decided not to list it with me last year. And when I get there on Saturday, we're going to do the numbers. And if the numbers make sense, we're listing your home. And she went, okay, and I said, and if the numbers do not make sense because they have a lot of debt, so that's going to be it's going to be a financial meeting basically. If the numbers do not make sense, then we're not going to list it. But you and I both know that you need to sell this house to cash out $100,000, right? She said, yeah. I said, then you know what? Consider your property listed already. It's a tough conversation to have, and it's one of my past clients. I've sold her house, her brother's house. I've known them for years. But you have to be in that position where you can confront them. And these are my requirements. I'm not coming out to just look at your house. And she's my past client. I'm sorry, I'm not. I have a lot of things I could do with the Saturday afternoon. I could be listing another house.
Yeah.
So my next question, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so I'm going to ask it, and then if anyone feels comfortable sharing, I would appreciate it. So we all know if we do what Mike teaches that we can easily be at the 70%. I mean, it's a proven method, and it works for thousands of agents. So what is each of our biggest hang-ups to getting from where we are now to the 70% over the next 3 to 6 months? Does anybody want to share with the group what's your hang-up?
It's pre-qualifying harder and setting that standard what Geeta just went over. Mm-hmm. And not going out if they're not really super motivated to do it. And for me, I think I go on some because they're higher priced, and if they don't list with me, then they're probably not going to list for a little bit or a while, and I'm hoping I can add them to COI and hunt them down like the dog they are and get them to list with me in the future.
Like the dog that you are.
No. Not with these cat-like reflexes. Anybody else?
My biggest hang-up, this is Alex, is using the scripts verbatim. I mean, I'll go on an appointment, and sometimes I catch myself telling them what the price is of this CMA instead of having them answer it. I get in the moment, and I start answering, how many bedrooms? Yeah, it's 4, isn't it? Instead of having them do it as well. I just can't get myself to say at the very end, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want at the time you want. Won't that be great? I've just never been able to say that at a listing appointment. So, and I don't know what the hang-up is on it. It's just there.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that. I don't do that either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know it. I mean, I've used it once, and it worked perfectly. And then I never went back to it. I just felt too shy or too whatever with it. And because I know on the Mike Fury, I was up at productivity school last week, and we went over that over and over. And then I think it's funny when I say it. And so I don't want to say it, but yet I should all the time. Anyway.
When you guys we're almost done this call, I need to say a few closing things about some upcoming calls, but I want to leave you with a thought about the listing presentation. The day you memorize the listing presentation script and the 10 objection handlers that go with the most common, the common objections you get, the day you have that internalized will be the day that you go in on an appointment and you will not even have to use the script, and they will sign the contract after the first 3 questions.
Yeah.
So if you could spend the next 6 months memorizing all of those things, now it depends if you're a fast learner or not. Some of you guys could do it sooner. I did the listing presentation, the 10 objection handlers, and the 40 common objection handlers for real estate in 1 year. And that was the difference between me going from 65% to 90% in 1 year. So if you just spent half an hour doing that extra, some of you guys role play twice. What if you just role played once and then you spent another half an hour writing out scripts? Your second role play spot, writing out scripts, or on your lunchtime writing out scripts, or before you go on an appointment, write out the listing presentation script.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever that is for you. Everybody's going to be different. Some people need to read, chant. Listen to it in your car, in your own voice. Matthew used to teach us back in the day to listen to it with Baroque music in the background because it helps you internalize it more. So if you knew that it would only take you a year to get to 100% listing taking percentage, would you invest the time in it?
Right.
I didn't believe it, but it's true.
It's true.
Because when you know it, there's no fear, right?
Right.
So they don't smell and they don't feel the fear in your aura of, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? And that resistance creates resistance in the seller, and that's when you get objections. That's when they don't want to list, or that's when, they're not understanding, right? Cool. Okay, I have to run on another call, but there's 2 things that I want to just wrap up here. Just a reminder that we actually have a book review next month, and I'm reminding everyone ahead of time that it's June 23rd. So if you haven't picked up the audio or the book Open by